Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our community showcase here on ITV Networks. Today we're showcasing an organization rich in helping people. When we talk about color, orange is their color, and that is Pennyappeal, South Africa. We are privileged to be joined by the CEO of Pennyappeal, South Africa, Sister Shanaz Parak, and also the team or lead team Orange volunteer, Sister Sumaya Jamal. We say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to both of you, and Jazakallah for joining us.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Firstly, before we go on to our discussion for today, it is the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem. We're going to be understanding and unpacking more about this hospital that has been opened, and it is being run by Pennyappeal, South Africa in East Jerusalem. We know Palestine in the hearts of many a mu'min, many a believer. Everybody who undertakes the journey of Hajj or for Umrah always looks forward to the third Haram visit, which is imperative for any mu'min, any believer, to always be visiting or try and visit these three blessed lands at least once in our lifetime, inshallah. Talking about the Al-Maqasid Hospital, we know a lot about the rich history of Pennyappeal. Inshallah, we'll touch more about that first. Let's go to you, Sumaya. Let's talk about then the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem. Tell our viewers more about that. First time many of you would have been hearing the name of this hospital.
So it's one of the oldest hospitals in East Jerusalem, and a Pennyappeal family has basically committed now to expanding the neonatal unit in the Al-Maqasid Hospital, which caters for premature babies, and it gives them, you know, the support that they need and the medical requirements that they have.
Then Shanaz, coming to you, very brief introduction there of the Al-Maqasid Hospital, talking about the expansion of the neonatal. Let's go a bit in history. This hospital itself, how it has been running, and from now when Pennyappeal South Africa got involved in the helping of this hospital expand its neonatal division, what has the difference been?
I think if you look at the hospital in itself, it's come a really long way from being established way back in the 60s. It's actually the only freestanding registered hospital that's an NPO in its own right. So actually it's been around for quite long, providing services to people from Gaza, from West Bank, the Palestinian people. The Ministry of Health actually refers individuals to this hospital to access quality medical care. The Pennyappeal family globally, we've committed, like Sumaya touched on, to be able to expand the neonatal unit, as well as supply some medical supplies to that unit. Now, the reason we selected that is the last time we visited, we noted that there was a dramatic increase in the number of premature babies. And there were not enough cots or incubators to be able to accommodate this influx. So as a result, you had individuals who were coming to the hospital, but they had to be turned away. And given the dynamics of that area and the conflict, there's never a win-win situation. You know, it's not like you can just go down the road and there's another hospital. So you had serious cases of some children that were, they were passing away. You had instances of mothers who were developing illnesses because they weren't being able to be treated. So definitely the need to expand the unit would lead to more babies being seen, more chances and cases for bettering the lives, you know, of the future generations, inshallah.
I mean, talking about then, this is not an ordinary hospital in East Jerusalem. This is a well-established hospital, the Pennyappeal family. Why did the Pennyappeal family then take this decision to partnership with this hospital? You make mention the need was there. I'm sure there must have been pre-visits to this hospital to see what else then attracted the Pennyappeal family to get involved with the Al-Maqasid Hospital.
I think, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, Pennyappeal is an advocator and we are strong supporters of the people of Palestine. So much so that we have a Pennyappeal project dedicated to all of our projects within the Palestine territory called Love Palestine. And our commitment to seeing the betterment of those people, to ease their hardship, I think that is the main reason and undertaking. Also, given that the hospital, like I said, it's totally independent. So there's no political agenda. There's no, you know, swaying between the two conflict parties that are happening. It's purely a hospital registered as an NPO in its own right. It has good governance. It exists already, which means that it's proven. It's got a proven track record. There are wards that are already in existence. They have beds that are already in existence. It's not just neonatal that they provide. They also provide other medical services. But I also think from the Pennyappeal perspective, besides our affiliation to our Love Palestine project, it also comes down to the type of project we're looking at. You know, neonatal is something that's very special. It's something that's very, it's a very unique type of project to undertake when you're talking about babies, literally the most innocent of the innocent. And I think if that's not saving a life, that is actually the purest and the most easiest way, I think, when we talk about saving lives. Over and above that, very often in conflict zones, and I presume this comes from complete innocence on our part, and when you look at conflict zones where reproductive health of females is often overlooked. It's not a dire necessity in most cases. It's something that, if it can be attended to, it will. Here we're seeing that there's, you know, Pennyappeal, who firmly promotes women equality, the advancement of women, the empowerment of women and communities. We felt that this project was really something that we wanted to be able to invest in, inshallah, to reap those benefits of ongoing rewards. You can see generation after generation saving one life. It's as if you've saved all of mankind. So I think,
Then talking about the Pennyappeal family's investment into such a project, how is that investment now panned out after Pennyappeal's involvement?
So what we've done is we've committed to being able to support the expansion, like I mentioned. And the expansion entails firstly expanding into existing property within the hospital grounds. So according to bylaws, you're not allowed to build up. And so there has to be expansion on the ground, which means procuring more land to be able to do that. Over and above that, there's the concept of incubators that we saw. I'm sure the viewers will see it in the short video to follow. Incubators per child, and then also medical supplies to support that period of incubation, to support newborns, to support the new mothers. So that's basically what it looks like. We are embarking on fundraising initiatives to be able to support this, and we hope that it will happen. Inshallah, we hope to see progress happening within this year still to start off the construction and the expansion of that unit.
Cost is always something that needs to be discussed. When you talk about the expansion project, is there a price tag attached to the expansion?
So the Pennyappeal way of doing charity is different, as I'm sure you're aware, and Sumaya would tell you. It's all about small change and big difference. And so we welcome contributions from members of the public of all amounts. I can tell you that off the top, when we look at contributions towards the expansion, we look at amounts of ranging from 20,000 Rand. And again, those amounts can be a once-off. They can be spread over a 12-month period. We look at contributing amounts of 10,000 Rand as well, and that goes into specific square meterage that people can sponsor. And then it goes down into providing the incubators, and incubators can be provided from 5,000 Rand or 1,000 Rand per an incubator. So it just depends, and like I said, all of that is payable over a 12-month period. But we do welcome all sorts of contributions. We even have a category if people want to become a friend of Palestine. And that's donate randomly towards the Love Palestine project. 500 Rand a month, 1,000 Rand a month, 250 Rand over 4 months. You know, the possibilities are endless. So we welcome all types of donations.
Sumaya, then coming to you as the lead Team Orange volunteer, when it comes to a project like this, neonatal, as Sister Shanaz made mentioned, all about women empowerment, as a volunteer on the ground, if you have been there, tell our viewers more what you've seen and experienced on the ground.
So I was fortunate enough to travel with Pennyappeal for the Palestine Marathon, which happened last year. It was a phenomenal experience, alhamdulillah. We raised funds before we left to go, that was for the Love Palestine campaign. So we ran the marathon, and we also visited refugee camps. And that was something, I think a life-changing moment. I think Shanaz will agree with me. Going through, you giving them, the food that they need, the attention that they have, playing with the kids. We played soccer with them on the streets near their homes. We were invited into their homes as well. There was a really phenomenal experience, and that you're so close to them at this point. And I think many of them mentioned that whilst we do donate and whilst we do give them the food that they need, they also want us to visit Palestine as much as possible, so that we're there for them and we're showing we have the presence there in Palestine.
Yeah, it's not only support economically, like you make mention now, the medical support is needed, like you've said. Not many a person out there thinks about neonatal support when it comes to our women and sisters all across the the world, importance is given to other categories of the medical field. Pennyappeal family has now taken upon itself to get involved into this neonatal division. But when we talk about the mothers of Palestine, when you were there, or when you were there, Sister Sumaya, when you seen the mothers that had to be turned away, what did that do to you people?
I think it's always heartbreaking in any scenario that we work in. Palestine was one example when we were distributing some of the food packs. There were just some areas or some families that we couldn't get to. We only had a certain amount of budget, and you walk into these camps and there's so many people. And sometimes you have to, you can't help everybody as much as you want to. We've seen it, our teams have seen it when they've visited Zimbabwe. Our teams have seen it when they've visited the likes of Malawi. Our team currently on the ground in Syria is seeing it at the Turkish border, where people are saying, take my child, please, take my child and go. And it's always a constant thing that we face. And the only thing that doesn't break us down totally is the hope. Firstly, it's belief in Allah's rahmah, yes. That inshallah, He will find a way out for the people, and understanding that we are the vehicles to deliver that, and understanding that we have hope, inshallah, that our donors and the work that we do would want people to contribute towards these causes. It's not a pretty situation, especially when it comes to medical, for anyone to be turned away for that matter, because that's a definite, life or death situation. I think it's more heart-wrenching when it comes to newborn children that need that, because, like I said, they're the most innocent. You don't get any purer or innocent than that. And to see little bodies fighting for their lives, it's definitely heart-wrenching. So. Yeah.
Sister Shahnaz Parak and Sumaya Jamal from Pennyappeal, South Africa, talking to us about the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem. We go for a short break. When we come back, inshallah, we're going to be talking more about the Love Palestine project. Keep watching. Welcome back to our community showcase, and we're talking the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem with Pennyappeal, South Africa. Before we go on to the different projects that Pennyappeal, South Africa is involved in Palestine, let's watch a video with regards to the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem.
Al-Maqasid Hospital here in Palestine is the only hospital that has provisions for a neonatal unit. This hospital is entirely run on donations. This is the only hospital where children can be delivered before their time, as in preterm births and premature births. And at the moment, the facilities are simply not enough to service the needs of people from Gaza and here the entire Palestine. This is baby Yasser. Yasser was born at 28 weeks. Now, without having this neonatal unit here, baby Yasser would not have survived. He's just 17 days old at the moment, and I can see how much he's really struggling to breathe there. And he's breathing with the help of the ventilators and in this incubator, and with 24-hour care from these nurses. Otherwise, Yasser would not have survived. Now, this is just one example of the hundreds and thousands of babies like little 17-day-old Yasser that will not survive unless we make a difference and we extend this neonatal unit and cater for the thousands of babies that are unfortunately not getting this treatment simply due to the lack of space.
Each day we refuse cases because there is no place. Monthly we refuse 40 to 50 cases. We have currently 28 beds, but I think more than 40 or 50 beds would be needed just to fulfill big demand of dealing most of the time with complicated cases, extreme premature cases, or those with major congenital anomalies.
The two most important pieces of equipment that are required in this neonatal unit and the new expansion that we're about to build is, of course, incubators, which allow a premature baby to survive in the right temperature and the right conditions, and also the flow machine. This allows the ventilation and also the breathing for the child. So this is an extremely important piece of equipment that allows the child, a very young premature child, to breathe properly and to, of course, survive. This outside space that we have here, the hospital is going to be extended out. After this extension is done, no child or mother who's about to give birth to a premature child will be turned away from here, inshallah. There's no way you can measure the importance of keeping children like this alive on a daily basis. That's perhaps the most important thing for us as human beings to do, to ensure that we are saving these lives. And let's not forget that even if we can save one beautiful life in this dunya, Allah Azza wa Jal gives a reward of having saved the entirety of humanity.
Alhamdulillah, we just watched a video with regards to the Al-Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem, and this is our discussion on our community showcase here on ITV with the CEO of Pennyappeal South Africa, Shanaz Parak, and the lead team Orange volunteer, that is Sumaya Jamal, talking to us about the Al-Maqasid Hospital. Before the break, we made mention of Love Palestine. Inshallah, we'll unpack that more. With regards to the video that the viewers have just seen, impact very important. What impact has this involvement of Pennyappeal family with the Al-Maqasid Hospital had on the community?
I think more than anything, like it's instilled a sense of hope. You know, like the video mentioned, it's the only facility that offers neonatal in that entire territory. So servicing all of the Palestinian people, referrals from the health ministry, tells you a lot. It tells you that this institute or this hospital is relied on to be that beacon of hope. And we saw the little babies that were there, that were benefiting from it. We saw the statistics that they offered in terms of how many more incubators would be procured, how many more lives would be saved. And I think it's really about that impact, you know, understanding that that is literally your donation and your intention to contribute in action. You know, you've donated, and so you can see the impact almost immediate. More incubators, more lives saved. Inshallah, the youth, the Palestinian youth, being able to survive. And I think also it's important to note that what is the reason sometimes behind premature births? You know, it's the stressful conditions sometimes that the woman has to endure. Being pregnant sometimes in occupied territory, it's not the easiest thing. We've heard stories about how difficult life is for the Palestinian people. And so we see this, like I said, an increase in these type of instances. Alhamdulillah, some kind of relief for them, some kind of solution to better the hardship, inshallah, if Allah wills. And then also, like I said, being able to save a life.
When we talk about after difficulty will always come ease in any way made possible by any means, and that is the means the Pennyappeal family is playing towards the family of the Palestinians. Not only, I'm sure all the girl babies now going to be either Sumaya or Shanaz, so that's on a lighter note. But talking about the means of making life easier for the Palestinian people, then we know the project you are running is called Love Palestine. Unpack that for us.
Love Palestine is one of the projects that we have. It's specifically tailored to our support and the work that we do with the people of Palestine. Pennyappeal has, over a large number of years, alhamdulillah, we've supported projects such as date trees, and from those date trees there are dates that are harvested and then packaged and then sold off for, you know, in Ramadan as a Pennyappeal product. So that's a form of income generation. In terms of widow empowerment, we've come up with a project which has rooftop gardens, so that individuals living in some of the camps or in some of the flats are able to use actual piping to be able to grow gardens. So when you have situations where food is scarce, where there's curfews that have now been put in from time to time, people are unable to go out and access food, there's no food coming in, they've got something to sustain themselves, even a little bit of business on the side in terms of selling some of the items that they grow. So those rooftop gardens, alhamdulillah, they've really been phenomenal, especially for some of the females and the widows. The other thing is Feed Our World, and this is what Sumaya was talking about. You know, when we did the Palestine Marathon, the marathon is one aspect of it, which takes place on one day as a freedom of movement type of advocacy, a marathon, if you'd call it that. But the Pennyappeal family gets together, and what we actually do is we raise funds. We raised funds in South Africa. There was a group of at least 10 strong that went out, and we raised funds. And alhamdulillah, what happened is when we got onto that side, there were food packs that were procured to last a family at least a month to a month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on the size of the family. And each volunteer or each individual that raised funds got to go out and distribute these food packs. So you take it into the people's homes if they'd let you, obviously with their permission, spend some time with them, get to know them. And as Sumaya said earlier, rightfully so, the only thing they kept saying, I think if you can just relate the story about the old lady.
We were actually, we were playing outside with the kids, and this little kid came up to us and they said, please, can you come up to our home? So we didn't want to intrude or whatever, and, ended up in their home. And they were so excited to have us in their home. The mum, straight away, went into the kitchen to get us something to drink. And out of a room comes one of the kids' blind sister. And she was talking to us, and she spoke the best English, and she apparently was learning to speak English. And she was trying to translate what her parents were saying, and her father was actually banned from going into Jerusalem. This was in Bethlehem. And, they were talking to us and they're telling us that they really, love us coming through, giving them, what they need in terms of food, but also, they kept stressing the point that we have to come through, we have to, be there, show them support, go into Palestine and be there for them. And I think that was something that really touched our hearts. Alhamdulillah.
That's all it is, letting them know that they're not a forgotten people.
Yes.
Yeah. And so Love Palestine is very much that. So we've touched on the Feed Our World project, which provides food, the rooftop gardens for widow and female empowerment. We've now got the Al-Maqasid Hospital that we've spoken about. We also do a Hifz Orphan sponsorship. And that's been really phenomenal. Our Hifz Orphan sponsorship is a 3-year program, and that looks at providing support to a child who wants to do a Hifz program, who wants to be able to, learn the Quran. Alhamdulillah, that's a really popular project that we have as well. Over and above that, we also have orphan sponsorships. So to sponsor an orphan, that's on an annual basis. It's selecting specific children that are the most vulnerable or orphaned that need the support. And we've also done under the medical, topic, we've done the Haifa Medical Center. That's where we've provided medical support to the Haifa Medical Center. And that is a lot more, I would say, emergency related. So injuries, casualties arising from conflict, that sort of thing. The Haifa Medical Center has really done phenomenally well. Pennyappeal has supported it. And that's more or less been a lot about what we do under Love Palestine.
Yes. I was just going to say very briefly then, because we're short of time, maybe about 2 minutes, you can then unpack for us the impact that every project has had over the time. And then Sumaya is going to tell us what's her favorite project, but the impact from the Pennyappeal's family that it has had on the Palestinians with regards to the Love Palestine projects.
I think all of our projects are very, very focused in terms of assisting and uplifting the Palestinian people. We're not advocates for ensuring that they remain in the same scenario or situation that they are in. We are advocates for growth and for change and for freedom of movement. So one of the things I also failed to mention was the provision of water tankers to provide water when there are shutdowns and curfews. So providing water, providing avenues for income generation, providing support to Hifz orphans because children are the most vulnerable, medical, these are all tools to be able to equip them with whatever is needed for them to continue with their lives. We have a situation where they are being oppressed for all intents and purposes. And so we find that by providing them with the supplies and tools that they need to have somewhat of a regular life, inshallah it gives them the hope to continue, inshallah it gives them the dignity that they deserve, and inshallah it will make an impact in the generations to come.
Talking about advocacy for change, it's small change, big difference. Alhamdulillah. Sumaya, closing words from you as a volunteer. What are the projects that you hold most dear to you when it comes to the Love Palestine project?
I think all the projects are very close to my heart, especially, Palestine. Growing up, everyone knows about how important it is to be there with the Palestinians, the struggles that they go through. But I think Feed the World is one of my favorite because being there, going to the refugee camps. And the most amazing thing is that, anyone, you don't have to have be old or young, whatever it is, even if you're a student, any money that goes through, like Shanaz mentioned, there's 1,000 rand that you can put through to become a friend of Palestine. So any donation that you put through, small change, big difference. I think that's what's most important here.
And then also, just quickly, how important it is for the youth to get involved and volunteer their time for such organizations and for such projects.
And I think with Pennyappeal, you know, as you mentioned, with volunteering, with Team Orange, it's, you know, such an amazing family that we have, the projects that we do, the way in which the volunteers get themselves involved. Like, for example, we had to do a challenge, which was running in Palestine. And that is something that's so fun as well. And at the same time, you're also visiting the refugee camps. So you are fulfilling, you know, both ends, if I could say, you know, that, yeah.
And Shanaz, from your side, how do viewers get in touch with Pennyappeal South Africa to learn more about the projects? It's not only projects confined to Palestine, it's projects, as you made mention, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and also here back home in South Africa. How do viewers get in touch with Pennyappeal South Africa?
We always love to hear from viewers all the time, so feel free to visit our website, which is www.pennyappeal.org.za, or call our offices on 031 11 00573. If you're not one for talking, we have a WhatsApp line, and that is 081 407 2753. And feel free to drop us an email, info@pennyappeal.org.za. We'd love to hear from everybody.
Not forgetting social media as well.
There we go. And
at Pennyappeal SA and at Team Orange SA on Instagram as well as on Facebook.
That's right.
Jazakallah to the CEO of Pennyappeal South Africa, Shanaz Parak, and the team or lead team Orange volunteer Sumaya Jamal for joining us and unpacking for us the Al Maqasid Hospital in East Jerusalem, and also the Love Palestine project and the different projects that Pennyappeal family is involved in assisting our Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine, the third holiest city for any mu'min, any believer. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take Pennyappeal South Africa and the family from strength to strength, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for one and all of those ummatis of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam undergoing any distress in the world today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them, assist them, and shower His infinite mercy upon them and upon us at all times. From myself and the rest of the team, you are watching ITV. Keep watching.